Sorry, I started again without you. My bad.
It's on here now. Around 205 exchanges since January, folks. Now, I want you to think about that in terms of the next bull run. Bear markets do not last forever, folks. They do not. We will hit a bull run. And when we do, this next time, and I hope you've all done what I've told you to do, which is to make sure that you've increased your limits for withdrawals and you've got your exit strategy, and hopefully you've written down the 3 price points that you will exit, if you will.
Wait,
exit.
what?
Some of you may never exit from XRP.
3?
I believe I will have a certain amount of XRP that I will never take out.
Wait a minute.
But I also know what my number 1 is, okay, for my exit. And so it's important. But but what I wanted to show you here is back in January, that market that fizzled out.
So exit prices, I think people should see if before they want to sign up for an exit price strategy, I think they should explore options in the event happening sell category. All right, that doesn't make sense. Basically, instead of saying I'm going to sell 1% of, say I have 1,000. No, I don't need numbers. Say I'm going to sell 1% of my XRP at $10. Why did you pick $10? Human. Some might pick 5, some might pick 3, but whenever I hear a lot of people just throwing out a number for XRP, it's 10. What if you had that strategy when you bought Bitcoin many, many years ago when it was 30 cents? What if you had that same mentality of, oh, when it gets to 10, I'm selling 10% or 1%? Like, where would you be right now? You'd be about a couple hundred grands, thousands behind is where you'd be. So I think people should have, and no, this isn't financial advice. This is event advice. I would say before doing your price thing, like say any movement under $100, you go by the, or once the price of XRP passes $100, you then do your price calculations. Because hopefully, or your price exits, because hopefully all of your price exits were under $100. The benefit to that is if you have the, what is it called? Dang it. When you have the event-based value evaluator, what is it called? If you value something, you give it its price, not its nominal price, but its, what's the other one? Yeah, the other one. Anyway, I just think people should try and move away from price spotting, because it's with an exponential asset, it's lethal. It will drain your money faster than losing your private keys. Like, it'll just suck it right out of you. So be patient. Think of an event. Think, so 11,000 banks, I think, are with Swift, or at Swift's high point, whatever, at its highest point for market. I don't know what the hell that's called. it had 11,000. So say, all right, half, about 8, I think 850. Sorry, I think I priced something today that was 750. Anyway, say Ripple gets half the amount of customers that Swift had. So it's got like 6 something. Or 5 something. Imagine if that happened after it went $100. And you told yourself, all right, I'm going to sell 1% when Ripple has about 5,000 customers global. Then you're going to sell 1%. That event, to me, would seem like it would happen either relatively quickly to our surprise or 2 years to 3 years to our surprise, but not to the normal world, because that's normally how long, appreciating assets make. But it appreciates to like between $500 and $800 over that 2 to 3 year period. So it's not like the quick spikes that get us all happy. It's the slow and steady wins the race. Does that make sense? So, stick to events, not prices.
Out as a result of a lot of things, one of which was there were log jams on all the exchanges. All of the exchanges around the world, they had to literally stop letting people open accounts. They didn't have enough personnel. They weren't ready for the bull run. And you couldn't, transactions like trying to get things out, it couldn't be processed in a timely manner. The market is totally different than it was in terms of what it's grown to now. We're talking about 46 exchanges with XRP back then. Now think about that. It went up past $3.50 with 46 exchanges. XRP now has over 200. We literally have millions of people who now have access to buy XRP during the next run-up that did not have access.
We're gonna have a lot of friends calling of friends being like, hey, can I give you my 11 grand? Quick, try and buy me a Bitcoin. I can't get into they won't let me sign into an account. But I do remember that. That was ridiculous. And because I wasn't trying to get in an account in either of my 2 bull runs, it didn't really register to me what it actually meant. And then it was kind of like everyone's coming into a concert rushing as fast as they can. But as soon as they start charging admission, the line, comes to a screeching halt and then slowly keeps moving. Some people can get in, but everyone that's in there already is enjoying the benefits of the concert, aka buying more and more Bitcoin. So you literally make it, you take the market and you don't even choke it, you just chop it in half, and it only can like there's only half as much as what was there. And I'm not sure what that's going to do to the people's buying mentality that do have accounts. So I don't know what the response would be from the institutional or the professional Bitcoin side. The retail guys on Binance, been there for 2 years side, and then those that can't open an account. So I'm not sure how the price is going to fluctuate between who can't place a bid in the market but would like to, and everyone knows that, so then do they risk more or Do they sell more of the other assets, aka does that then feed on itself and cause the Binance guys to mortgage their houses and, go all bets full bore? Is that what it's going to look like when the market literally shrinks up? And it's just going to be an overwhelming amount of fresh, I'm going to use the word fiat or capital, but unfortunately those are the only two words that come to mind that I can use. But all that new energy, which then becomes interest, because then over the next bear market, after you made all your money in the bull market, you're just happy you got in really low. You know it's going to crash, so you just kind of hang on for the ride. I don't know where I was going with that, so let's go back to this.
This is a huge fact. It's a huge fact. And this Coinbase, the addition to Coinbase just gave me the opportunity just to illustrate that. Next, I want to show you this. Bird's Eye XRP. Yesterday I had tweeted out asking Apple if they were going to add to their iPhone a crypto wallet, since Samsung and HTC have done it. And I asked them if they were going to add a wallet, which surely they are, and if they were going to add XRP to that wallet. I don't think we've heard back from them yet, but that tweet has gone crazy around the internet. Now, Bird's Eye XRP at BirdEye19 says Apple has added Ripple's XRP token to the stock market application. XRP has started to rise. And so this is it's little things that are happening and have been happening since the last run, but it's in combination, the things that have been accomplished and the adoption, so that when all the people finally start to come in on this bull, I'm telling you, it's going to be epic.
That is correct.
This is a retweet, okay? He says, this is a video that he's posted from Ashish Burla. He's quoted it. In India, in the next 5 years, 1 billion new people will be banked, and that's like what's driven me to the blockchain, is that now these people are connected to the rest of the economy. They've been left out of the internet, and that's from Ashish Burla. Then he says, these new institutions don't trust each other. Now you have a digital asset, XRP, that's instant. So now you can build on top of that, which we've done at Ripple with XRapid product, where now I can transfer in and out of fiat into a local currency instantly. So that is massive. When you start to see, and you will see it, when you start to see India and China come online, and Russia and all these countries start to really come online, and Japan and South Korea. Remember, a lot of these countries, they've been working out the regulations over the last 8 to 10, 12 months. They've been working out the regulations over the last few years. When you begin to see all of this start to come online, and then in conjunction with all of that, a bull run happens and the sentiment changes, and it will change. It is on like Donkey Kong, folks.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know what Donkey Kong is, it was a popular arcade game back when I was a kid. And by the way, speaking of Donkey Kong, if you have never seen it, one of the best documentaries I've ever seen is called The King of Kong. And it's about the guy who held the Donkey Kong record from way back in the 80s, and this underground culture of people who are into those old retro arcade games, and the different people that hold records, and how competitive it is. Pretty amazing documentary to watch. You ought to check that out if you haven't seen it.
You know that Ripple and
next,
XRP,
and this is interesting. This is from XRP Researcher at XRP underscore XRP News underscore. He's showing here the XRP USD, I guess, volume. 228 on February 28th on Coinbase Pro, it was 2.3 million. just a couple of days later on 3/1 on Coinbase Pro, or no, that's 1 day later on Coinbase Pro, it's gone from 2.3 to 9.9 million. Now, in this next bull run, you want liquidity, you want a cash out, an exit strategy, you have an exit strategy. If you're in the United States, especially, there will be all kinds of volume for anyone that is looking to get out of their XRP or do your first cash out. Because that 9.9 million will be more like 100 million in the next bull run, if not more. It says, look at that jump from just 1 day, 7.5 million. Unbelievable. And this is my tweet from today. And folks, I told you the dominoes will fall. And this is a tweet that I sent out. Which exchange will list XRP first? Gemini-backed digital asset, Fidelity Digital Assets, or ErisX? And I think that the poll is dead on it. We know for a fact that Fidelity has said that they will probably list the top 5 or so coins by market cap. Right now we've got 528 votes, and Fidelity's winning 54%. And so I believe that
pardon
Fidelity
my language,
will
but
win this, and I think that this is an
this this thing called Bitcoin is gonna go nuts. Like, as soon as we pass 10,000, 20 will not be far behind. And once we pass 20, 20 is going to look like a 1-digit number compared to where it's going. So think of it like a $20 bill. What's the next bill you think of? 50. Oh, too late. I'm already on my way to 100. Like, I can see that. I can see that reality unfolding either within a week or a month. Wait, what would... what am I looking for? Oh, charts. So let's take a look. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, this one's a little over a month, 5 weeks. And that was with, tiny stuff. I could see, imagine what's going through your head right now. Seriously. Imagine you were looking at that. What is going through your head? That next thought that I have and most people that are in Bitcoin have is the exact thought that the institutional group can control and have been able to control successfully in order to win more money than you've gambled, basically. So because they've been able to control that feeling, they know how to play the game. They now have the reins and can, giddy up this horse a little bit faster. So I can see this blink from 20 to 50 to 100 happening relatively quickly, because to them, it's like a $20 bill, $50 bill. Oh, it's an $100 bill now. Because when you go from 100 to 200, you're approaching the millions. And that's kind of, I think, where their mind frame is at. It's not weird to hear an entrepreneur be like, "Oh yeah, I opened a business I started, and 5 years later we're at 6 million." It's like, wait, what? 6 million? And the other guy's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool." So it's like to them, millions are like that's where you start essentially. To the average Joe guy walking down the street, $1 million is like, "Oh wait, who wants to be a millionaire? What? $1 million?" Like that, to them, 1 million is a lot. But the rate at which I can see Bitcoin getting to it is a race a lot of people are going to want to watch. So it should be very interesting to see what comes of it. Yes.
We're tuned in and know what's going on. I think that Jim, the guys, I think the Winklevoss are Bitcoin maximalists through and through. They won't even reply to a request to add XRP. I think that Backed is probably more likely. Now, ErisX, we've tweeted to them before, and they, as I recall, it was kind of a smart aleck response to it. Like, we're comfortable with what we're listing, it's that kind of thing. So I don't think it'll be ErisX. I do think it'll be Fidelity Digital Assets, and I think Backed could surprise everyone. Finally, I want to show everybody something you ought to watch. I'm watching it right now, and if you haven't seen it, you ought to watch it. Now, I rented it, but you're going to be able to watch it on the National Geographic channel on Sunday for free, I believe. Tune in to watch Free Solo on National Geographic Sunday, March 3rd. I went ahead and purchased it. You can get it on Amazon Prime. It's called Free Solo. It's this guy is one of these rock climbers. He climbs all these huge mountains. Well, Free Solo is about his trying to climb this big mountain in I believe Yosemite, and he's doing it without ropes. And I'm in the middle of watching it right now. Fascinating. I'm so afraid of heights that I wouldn't even be able to go up 10 feet. This guy's going up all the way without ropes. I mean, talk about wow. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investor. I'm not an investment advisor.
That
Just
is
for entertainment
nuts.
purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button and tell your friends and family to go watch Free Solo. It is something else. Thank you for listening.
That's crazy. It's like then you look at someone rock climbing with gear on and you're like, what are you doing? Trying to not fall? It's like,
ignition sequence start.
600.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Come on. Son of a bitch. Gotcha.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I'm going to get today started with XRP Crypto Wolf, who sent me this, or he didn't, I don't think he sent it to me. I think he just tweeted this and I saw it. The Ripple drop, episode 10 came out. Ripple's, and then they, in this Ripple drop,
Ripple Stiltskin.
Swell event this year, which is their annual conference, will be held in Singapore. The next Ripple regional will be held in Bangkok, Thailand. And this, you can go to either XRP Crypto Wolf's feed or you can go to Ripple's Twitter feed and watch this video where they show themselves setting up. Looks like they're setting up their London office. I would love to go see that one day. But the news here really is that Swell's going to be in Singapore this year. That's not a coincidence. Singapore is like a huge place for innovation and
Hold on a second.
really capital.
I gotta go do something.
And so that's going to be interesting. All right, this is from Sergeant Obi-Wan. R3's David Rudder finally clamps down on the rumor of Swift partnered banks using XRP. And what they're referring to, this is, if you remember, R3 has got the Corda settler, which will use XRP. And so this, the R3 CEO was being interviewed by the rumors of Swift working with Ripple and or XRP through this thing. You'd have to ask Swift about that, but that is not at all my understanding. I think that is a misinterpretation of what in fact happened. And then basically he says he doesn't have a dog in this fight. Whether it's JP Morgan coin, Wells Fargo coin, VAML coin, or HSBC, it doesn't matter to us. We have no horse in that race, he said. And he added to this, we don't have any financial incentives one way or another. We're just trying to get as many people on our platform as possible. These statements
How do you spell this?
50 banks using XRP as those banks trial core to settler alone. Although Swift hasn't disclosed whether they will use XRP now or in the future, there's always an option to use XRP.
There we go, genius. You're a genius, Brady.
XRP guy, he says, the Swift pilot with R3 isn't about Swift using XRP, it never was. It's about corporates using Core to access their Swift banks through GPI link. This exposes them to being able to use XRP instead. That's the important thing. It gives them the option to use XRP. It puts them side by side there with Swift and XRP. And if it saves them money to use XRP, they're eventually going to use it. That's the whole concept in my mind. Let me delete a couple of these, and we'll move along. Let's see, that one. And then finally, this one. Okay. And this is from Web Surfer. I'm not going to go into this whole article. I think this is something we all knew was going to happen, but this article kind of confirmed it. Facebook, Telegram, and Signal, three of the biggest companies in instant messaging, have said that they are working on their own digital currency. Facebook token would almost certainly be released as a stable coin. I want to make a point in general here, and that is when Jamie Dimon announced JPM coin, that was the death of XRP. Well, Ripple said, or David Schwartz has addressed this before. We called this walled gardens, okay? And these are yet another example of walled gardens. And I've talked about this a lot. You're going to have every kind of walled garden you can think of. The purpose of XRP has always been, and I've always said it's going to be a bridge currency between all these walled gardens. Whether that walled garden is an instant messaging platform, or whether that walled garden is a social media platform, or whether it's a central bank or a bank, XRP can bridge all of them. And that is what we've always kind of thought of, or at least I've always thought of as the goals of XRP. Next, big, this is from BondCrypt, at BondCrypt. Thailand now has approved 4 cryptocurrencies. Currently there are 4. XRP is one of them. Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Stellar. Says the Thai Securities Exchange Commission has announced a list of 4 approved cryptocurrencies for use as base trading pairs in the country. That, my friends, is huge, and so that is a definite thing you need to know. All right, from Sean Michael at Michaels_Mr. He sent me this, which is a XRP arcade. This is Leonidas on Twitter, and he started XRParcade.com. And XRP Arcade had this article: tokenized exchange at XRP in mid-March with Bitcoin, Ethereum, SGD, USD pairs. Here's their tweet. So tokenized, now I can only assume that tokenized, an exchange called tokenized, intends to at some point have all sorts of assets that have been tokenized on it. That is my assumption just by the name of the title of the name of the exchange. But that is just further liquidity is what we're looking at, folks. Next, XRP researcher at XRP News _ XRP now listed on Coin Haiku. XRP will be paired with SGT, IDR, and BND. Those are the Singapore dollar, Vietnamese dong, and Indonesian rupee. I guess that's how you say it. Singapore-based exchange serving Asia. This is major adoption. I mean, I've just shown you 2 huge examples, or 3 huge examples. Next, and this is from Lionel at Lionel 46294555 revolution will be televised. Go XRP, go. Now this is from the one of the XRP explorers, I think. It shows the movement of 1 million XRP, and in the memo it says the revolution will be televised. For those of you
So
that don't
cool.
know what that refers to,
That is awesome.
reference to Jungle Inc. Remember, I said it before. Two guys inspired me to start my channel. One is Alex Cobb, and two is Jungle Inc. Jungle Inc. Got me excited about the idea of getting into starting my own channel, and he really got me pumped up. There's
That's so cool.
last December, and I was watching it, and I was like, man, maybe I could do that. And so, a shout out to Jungle Inc. But anyway, I think that just so you know, anytime you send XRP, you can write a memo. But this is just an interesting thing that someone did. Okay, moving on. Now I want to correct something. Yesterday I referred you all to XRP at XRP Charities, and I did not mention the person who I believe started it or jointly started it with someone, and that is L at XELLEOFREYA. I believe this is the creator of the Good Souls group, and so go and give her, I don't know if it's a her or a him, a follow, and I'm assuming that's a her or a she. But anyway, go give her a follow, and because this is a really good thing that she's done. Okay, finally, I want to give a shout out to Mike Jansen, who is the announcer for the Indianapolis Colts and the creator of my intro. He has a production company. If you haven't gone to that, it's mgjansen.com. He does production work. If you're looking for any production work, he's probably got some time on his hands since the NFL season is over right now. And I wanted to get to bring him up because he sent me this. And many of you may not know this. You know that Coinbase listed XRP, but Mike told me that he was looking around on the XRP tip bot, and guess who can receive tips on the XRP tip bot now? Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase. Wouldn't it be funny if some of you went and welcomed him to the party and gave him a tip? Okay. And finally, one of my favorite shows of all time. I want to give a shout out here. I got an email from Jersey Mikey D, and I love Jersey, and I'm going to tell you a little story here. When I was in college, when I was at Auburn, one of my best friends that I met in college was a guy that was from New Jersey. He was from Caldwell, New Jersey, and he took me up there to Caldwell, New Jersey. I think it was during college or right after college. I don't exactly remember, but we went to the Jersey Shore, and I mean, talk about a culture shock. Someone from Georgia going up there. I saw, actually, Caldwell, New Jersey. You see a lot of scenes in The Sopranos that are filmed around that area in Caldwell, New Jersey, and that's where he was from. And so when The Sopranos began, my friend told me I had to watch this show. And once I started watching it, I was totally hooked. Well, Jersey Mikey D, who sent me an email, he sent me an interesting piece of information. He said he thought he was telling me that his girlfriend's first cousin is Joe Pantoliano. I may have butchered that, sorry. But that is the guy that plays Ralphie on The Sopranos. He's one of my favorite psychos on the show. Christopher was my other favorite psycho, but Ralphie was like an awesome character. He was a total loose cannon on the show. and anyway, I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, but Ralphie was one of my favorite characters, and I thought that was cool that this guy knew Ralphie in a roundabout way. And he also said something about one of his friends. I don't want to give away any names here or anything beyond that. But anyway, the bottom line is this guy, Jersey Mikey D, and I love his name. He's been listening to me talk about my 6-year-old with baseball. He even offered to send my 6-year-old a chip appreciate that, but I can't accept it, but I do appreciate that. And that's a really nice thing. There's so many nice people that I've met on here. And while we're on the subject of Jersey, I'm going to let everyone in on one of my greatest secrets, and that is that I am a huge fan of the Jersey Shore family vacation. I watched this past year, and I love the show. My wife and I
Remember
watched
this.
Jersey Shore from the very beginning. We got to know all these characters since I've been to Jersey. And boy, by the way, when I was in Jersey, they got a real kick out of this accent that way. But we love watching this, and this is a hilarious show. The reason I like watching it is because train wrecks are so entertaining, and this is the ultimate train wreck. One day I'm gonna have to meet some of these people because I would love to have that photo. And it would tickle me to death if I ever found out that anybody from the Jersey Shore was listening to my channel and was invested in XRP. That would make this all worth it. But one day, maybe I need to get on stage with DJ Pauly one day. That'd be funny. I'm a digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button. And if you know any of these guys, tell them that the digital asset investor loves watching them. Thank you for listening.
Wait, let me get another one, and then I think we'll go to Mr. Chuck.
I'm a 17-year-old high school dropout. She see money all around me. I look like I'm the man.
What am I watching? What am I watching, and why is it 4 minutes long? Is this the dude Gary talks about all the time?
My name is Iman. I'm 17 years old, and I actually dropped out of high school 8 months ago. And yes, I said high school, not college, right? I'm sure you know a bunch of college dropouts. Probably don't know too many high school dropouts, or if you do, they're probably on the side of the road. Anyways.
That wasn't necessary, but thanks, Dick.
Being in a classroom, I knew that I could do all the things that I wanted, have the lifestyle I want, travel, have more money than I know what to do, and see the world, and I could do that myself. So over the last year, I've gone ahead and built multiple businesses. All of them have to do with the internet. But look, when I first dropped out, everyone thought that I was gonna fail. Everyone thought I was ridiculous.
How come I've never heard of you?
Just me and my single mom. I didn't particularly have any connections. I didn't have much going for me, honestly. But I knew what I wanted, and I knew the sort of lifestyle I wanted. I was gonna work to get there.
Oh, maybe I've been living under a rock. But this just seems a little veneered. This looks like some high quality veneer. And it works because I'm still watching. So who gets it? Who understands it? Who wins? Look at that iron. Ugh. Should have went with Starfire. And like, what is it up with these like white chicks out in Hampton Bays? Like, let's just show these hot chicks again some more, and then we'll go to some place and peace out, brah. Wait a minute. Then what's the last minute 30?
What I did, to the point where all my businesses combined made me over $50,000 this month. In fact, we're sat here at my London crib. I work from here. I live here. I chill here. And bad YouTube videos from people like me trying to sell you stuff. Guys, I'm not here to try to sell you anything today. I just wanted to let you know that, I've gone ahead, dropped out of high school, built multiple businesses.
Oh, see, he's smart.
The entire thing on my YouTube. I don't hide how much I make. I don't hide how I make my money. Everything's documented. In fact, you can look back 2 years ago and see my entire journey up until this point. So go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you do feel as though you're part of this new generation.
Ah.
Anything, and hopefully I'm a testament to that. So number one, that, and second, share this with your friends, because look,
I'd be curious if this guy, how much of his journey he recorded.
look, I went ahead and did it. So share this with the people that are telling you you can't do this, or share this with the people that do believe in this generation, do believe the incredible things that we can do, and the fact that we can create the lifestyle that we want. So guys, as I said, go ahead and click somewhere around the corners, and then I'll take you straight to my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe and turn on post notifications. Go ahead, share this with a friend. We're in 2018 now. I'm telling you, we represent a new generation. We represent something that's never been possible before.
I am glad I watched that. That is the best ad ever. Now, what needs to happen interesting. So 16, so this is before he dropped out. Interesting. Let's pick on one.
When you find a trolley, just do me a favor and just get in it.
That wasn't very nice, but perhaps playful. I must say, this kid knows what he's doing.
A lot of you guys have asked me what I eat for breakfast. Usually it's just like instant oats, some granola, any sort of bread that's high in fiber and has a low glycemic index. I pretty much always eat whole wheat. I picked up some Cookie Crisps, and I'm hoping that if you had a childhood, you ate this at some point, because it's like literally little cookies with milk. I mean, delicious. Alright guys, so we're here in the gym now. For today's sort of squat variation, we're doing an overhead squat, which I've never done before.
He was doing this
I actually have someone here
3 years ago.
who's gonna try and help me with it.
Interesting.
We'll see how it goes. So I'll just do some clips now. Alright guys, so just literally just practice some with a wooden bar. This is honestly the hardest movement I've ever done. I'll leave some clips, just me doing it with a wooden bar. My hip flexors are just not open right now. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah guys, this is a really, really tough movement. Alright guys, so as you can see,
before I started using Redwood, I never felt
This
the stamina,
beard
drive,
commercial.
energy I feel pulsing through my body today. These shirt tearing. I tweaked something in my glute last night when I was doing squats. It is honestly so painful to walk right now.
Huh. Aside from having good form, curious what this. See, I'm looking at the copy. And the views. Interesting. 1.3 all of a sudden. Huh. I'm curious what happened in between the bodybuilder and the conjugate method.
Last night I had sort of like a dry cough, so I just took some cough syrup. Anyways, I never used to understand why like people would take cough syrup. I didn't understand what the sort of effects were, but I heard stories of people like getting high off it and whatnot. Well, I had a like allergic reaction to it, so just the worst nightmare I've ever had. Stuff like that. Woke up like in a complete sweat. And then this morning,
Trippy. Come on, when are you gonna get to the thing?
work out before I get into the gym. It makes me feel like I can lift more weight. But I wanted to see if that was just a fallacy or whether that's really true, because I've done a lot of research on caffeine while doing intermittent fasting and its effects on satiety, which is how full you feel. So it can blunt.
Huh. Huh. So 500 and 1,000. All right, so that seems. Yeah, episode 20. That seems good. 4 point. 2.4. Interesting.
I miss you. I miss you so much. Alright guys, so I still haven't bought my 10 to 18 Canon wide angle lens. I'm actually going on holiday in like 5 days or something, and I'll be gone for a month. I'm going to Malta, then Sweden, and then America. So really there's no point in buying it right now, but I will preferably like a banana, an apple, something like that. This one's kind of gross though.
Really?
Honestly, I can't eat bananas once they get dark. So I'm going for a bit of carrot cake. Basically, what you want to have is something with a scare you guys, but for the people, you know, if you're getting into the gym, if you're getting into meditating, into reading, that shit is really good for you right now. You have to be so careful about your friends, your influences, just everything in your life needs to be success based.
Huh.
Because it's just so easy to get complacent. Take it from me, guys. So guys, I'm still writing my ebook. Tomorrow was my deadline that I set for myself, and
Why is this different?
I'll probably be finished with it tomorrow.
Why is it different? That's what I want to know. Huh. Did I spell that right? Gadzhi. Gadzhi. I think it's right. Hold on. Oh, that was a satisfying sneeze. Wow. What is this? What is this? Dude, did I literally just find all these people Gary's talking about? I think I did. That's oddly relaxing.
Hey, who's that? Who's that? Hi. Oh. Hi. Nice. Oh, I like it in here. We're actually gonna go over to that cave. Go to that one. Let me see if I can't see it anymore.
Mastermind?
There. Oh my god, it's so hot. Yeah. Then go swimming. Actually, no, don't go swimming. You'd probably die. I never ran so hard.
Mastermind. I get it.
That was really close. Did you see that? I did not. I was busy doing this. And I need to apologize for my egregiously shitty camera skills. What? My horribly shitty camera skills. Because there's like, you're supposed to take video a certain way. I kind of just put it on things. Let's explore this cave. Okay. Yeah, walking out to this cave and then we're going to talk. Oh yeah. yesterday from a mastermind event that we did. Maybe we already posted that vlog video called the Meridian Mastermind on Saturday and Sunday. It's an event we paid $7,000 to attend, 6 people, super exclusive, hosted by Imam Gaji. It was super fucking epic. We're just gonna talk about it and the type of shit that we learned. I know in the last video, at least the vlog of the event, we showed like the fucking montage, but here it is again. Like 4 or 5 seconds long, just show it.
What are these guys doing? Are they serious? Do they just sit around and pretend like they're doing shit and getting shit done because it's in a music video, and then they're like, yeah, this is our mastermind. We think of cool ideas and money-making endeavors that fund our lifestyles to sit here and sell to you a $7,000 mastermind. I get it.
And I know for a fact I can directly correlate at least $1 million in return on that, just from the information that we learned. Yep. Literally. So fucking insane. Shit's about to get nuts. But if we don't do anything about it, it's worth nothing. It's worth zero. Oh, absolutely. It doesn't fucking matter. Because he's just going to tell us what to do and how to do it, but we just still have to do it ourselves, and that's really hard still. Yeah. It's information. If you do nothing with it, it's worthless. But when we execute on everything, whoo, stop it.
Oh.
So that's what we're going to talk about, all the shit that we learned.
It's worth money.
We're in the cave now. Yeah, film, like, look at the scale of me. I was doing that already. Oh, fuck. Whoa. Whoa.
That is kind of creepy.
So right now we are in Nusa Penida, which is a small island off of Bali, Indonesia. Yeah. We're just here for the day. And can you show the background? Yeah, fuck. Let's do that. So this beach is called, like, what? How do you say it? Clinking Beach or Clinking Bay. Sorry. Look at how incredible this shit is. Look at that we've traveled like
interesting.
Crazy places in our life, and this might actually, literally,
because
I'm not kidding, be like the most amazing place I've ever visited. I'm dead serious.
See, these comments look.
It's just like everything. The water,
legit.
The waves, like the whitest sand I've ever seen. It's so clear. We're inside a freaking like crater. You've definitely heard of this place or seen it before if you've ever been on Instagram. Here's what it looks like. It's like one of the most, honestly, one of the most famous photo places in the world. It's like a T-Rex head. Do you see it? You see the T-Rex head? We'll also play some drone footage maybe. Sit down on this rock. And we're just gonna talk about how it went, the things we talked about, the things we learned, and like what we're gonna do from now on. Yeah, and, like the things we're gonna apply right away, and what we expect to like fucking accomplish after the job. Alright, listen. I'll reach for my phone, like, why the fuck?
Sorry, and we're back, and these two are talking about being addicted to a cell phone.
And it just disrupts your thought patterns in your workflow, and that can really at least triple your productivity throughout the day. This is things that I kind of already knew, right? But because it's in person, he's telling us. An authority figure says it to you. It has a completely different impact on him. So yeah, what I'm gonna start implementing is having my phone turned off completely. I can't even access it until either 12 or 1 p.m. every day. So not look at messages, not look at fucking anything. No YouTube comments, nothing. Until 12 or 1 p.m.
What about going on a computer? Alright, these boys are
the biggest takeaways from the first section. We talk about mindset.
Milkinson twins. Alright. Let's go find some Vaynerchuk. About damn time.
The question is, how were you able to overcome the inevitable pessimistic, cynicism? Like when at some point, whether you were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you're saying, I'm going to be a professional footballer. The odds of that are quite low. How were you able to not hear your friend or your uncle or a neighbor. I think for a lot of us, I think it maps to everything in life. How are you able to shut out the noise? What was it inside of you? Parenting, results, somebody? Why were you able to always, because there's no way you end up to where you are without at every insecurity be able to say, no, I'm going to get over this hump versus I'm going to go this way, or I can't get over the hump, or let me go backwards.
For me, it was quite easy. I think whoever watched Conor McGregor's documentary, he always speaks about visualization.
Yes.
And I have to admit, the minute I had the ball on my feet, I knew. I just visualized it in my head as like I'm gonna be a professional football player. And it sounds weird, but I always had this belief, and I saw myself kicking the ball in the stadium, and it was crazy when I played my first game, and my parents, they stood there crying. I visualized that about 17 years earlier. You know what I mean?
Did your parents look the way you visualized them 17 years earlier?
Well, I don't know. No,
I actually, why I'm asking you that? I would argue I do a lot of similar things, and they're just premonitions. It's not very clear, but I always laugh that the people at the time look the way they look then, and I always think it's funny because 20 years later they're much older and it looks different. It looks different than it was in your mind.
No,
I get that.
And also, like I just said, when I grew up.
Were your parents blindly on board? Would your mom?
No. Like I had a lot of trouble when I grew up. Like when I moved to this academy, my mom, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and my dad had like alcoholic problems, and my brother, he was in other trouble. So like where I'm from is not the easiest. But I always said to myself, I want to be the one who stands out from that family and want to make them proud. And I want to make myself proud because at the end of the day, I don't only have to prove that stuff to myself.
When you're going through those kind of difficulties at such a young age, was the pitch, was the field a escape from all the shit?
Definitely.
It was the medicine?
Yeah, I always felt free when I was on the pitch. Because all the bullshit what's going on, like the family, whatever, the minute I step my foot on the pitch, it's gone, I'm free. So, and then it's funny because when I had more anger, or when my parents, when they were fighting, like 2-3 hours before a game, I would play better because I was so angry and I just let it all out on the pitch.
I understand.
So we were at 9 yesterday, I think.
Scenario. You live and work in New York City.
Oh no, it's not archives. I have got to plug in. Oh, darn it. I'll be back. Gotta go find it. And we're back. Phone personalization. Sorry, that was disgusting. Ask Garyvee 1. Ask Garyvee show episode 1. Okay, this is the one I was watching.
Take on a stand-up comedy routine.
Look at how young he looks. Forgot.
HR conversations and selling things through to clients or to the general public by leveraging humor. I think humor is an enormously attractive trait that is a very important part of business, but no more important than the other things that people are very attracted to in others, which is caring and empathy, self-awareness, gratitude, kindness, beauty. It's just another core tenet.
Mike asks, is Jab, 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 Right Hook coming out in audiobook form?
Mike, I've been dodging this question on Twitter for months, so congratulations for penetrating episode 9. The answer is
no.
I was supposed to do it in December of last year, January. I kind of lollygagged, 2 full days in the kind of booth just became unpractical because VaynerMedia is exploding. And so, all right, I've been watching this guy. I've been watching you, Eitan. Yeah, this time, I've got your number. We got him this time, guys. We got him. So where was I? Don't edit any of this. Where was I?
Recording booth, not practical.
Yeah, it was a practical. VaynerMedia is exploding with characters, and so I just haven't gotten to it. And the truth is, we're thinking about having somebody else read it. It's just kind of one of these things that is dragging now and is lending itself to me not doing it, which I know is now going to get a ton of boos in the comment section.
You'll be fine.
Jason asks, what's the hardest thing you've had to deal with in the past 5 years, and how did you get through it?
Jason, that is an intense question. Actually, you know what? Before I answer that question, I did a little something fun for the audience and something powerful. I'd like to think my little contribution to the cause earlier this morning. Let's take a look.
I'm doing a special challenge for ALS Aware, and you, Garyvee, tell me if you want to check my challenge. Hashtag AskGaryvee.
Hey Michael, it's Garyvee, and I am taking the Ice Bucket Challenge. Bring it, mate. I know you're gonna love this. Holy... Whoa! I challenge you, Vayner Nation, to step up. So that was interesting this morning. Nate has never been happier. Let's make sure we edit in at Nate's handle in there so he gets a little love. I love when we give the Vayner peeps.
That's funny.
Now to a little bit more of a somber, serious
These
question.
guys.
For the last 5 years, the hardest thing that I've had to deal with, hands down, it has to be the fact of siphoning off of Wine Library TV,
These
Gary
guys.
that routine of 6 years, and really
Wow, that's
the day
really interesting that I actually found these
that is the most emotional business
characters.
Working with my dad, kind of this transition of being day in and day out with my dad to being day in and
The
day
guy
out
did a
with
good
my
job at
brother.
luring me in.
I probably never even realized that would ever happen. It was a very big brain twist for me that I would be transitioning out of the family business into another chapter in my life, and I struggled with that quite a bit.
Oh, that's actually interesting.
The relationship with people at Wine Library, my dad and I dynamics, just all these very interesting things that was also happening right when Misha was born. It was an interesting time in my life. I was growing up and transitioning and changing. I
Awkward.
What I deal with everything, and really
Saying hi.
with my happiness. I dealt with it by over communicating. The level of communication I had with the people involved was very high and allowed for it to
Oh
happen.
yeah, this
So,
one's a real humdinger.
Damien asks, when you have $1 billion potential business plan without the financial resources and the inventory, where do you start with funding?
Damien,
Go sell a product.
this is one of those questions that I like picking for the show because I'm always scared to be too rude to the audience. You guys are smiling. Okay. Now I'm freaked out that Eitan's doing stuff. Just you. You guys are worried about how much I'm about to thrash Damien? Got it.
I am.
The answer to that question
Go to
is
work.
simple.
Sell a product.
We're in a bubble of financing right now. There are people that would finance this venture just on idea. It's happened. People come in with a deck, they have nothing. People give them money for a piece of the business and they go and do it. That's your only option. I mean, there's nothing else practical. Anytime somebody sets up a question of, do you know how many people emailed me with the title, about to help you buy the New York Jets, or Gary, open this email and you will buy the New York Jets, or I'm going to help you buy the New York Jets. And the next line is, hey Gary, be a fan of your work. I have $1 billion idea. Ideas are everybody's got ideas. Do you have ideas? I have unlimited ideas. If you have the idea is if you don't have the dollars and if you don't have the inventory, well, you, my friend, have nothing. And so the only way you do something about that is go and get dollars from somebody to, I assume, get the inventory. And I don't understand what the inventory is in this exact question. But the reason I'm answering this question is for the entire Vayner Nation to understand that practicality matters, right? Passion, which I'm loaded with, is great, right? Ideas transcend the world, great, agreed. But in execution, in practicality is when these things become true. That's what matters. That's what the people we all look up to.
See, this is where I see, darn, I'm really hungry. This is where I see the economy of ideas going, because some people are the ideas people and others are the practitioners, or a mix in between. And I can see people building relationships with people across the globe through sharing of ideas and communicating through methods like this, or video chat, whatever floats your boat. But the simple fact that we're going to be able to communicate instantly and pay people instantly, it's going to be nuts, is all I can say. It's going to be nuts.
It happen. And so that is massively important, and that is something I push all of you to start spending some more time on. Question of the day for episode 9. Who in your family inspires you the most? Tag them up. Give them some love. It's a good thing to do. You keep asking questions.
That was kind of funny. Alright, so we gotta find 10. 10.
I'm gonna chase that employee that's f***ing with me. Outtake. Secretly, I think the reason I'm doing this show is because I realize I'm in the midst of this health transformation, and I'm kind of excited to watch me transform into the Incredible Hulk over the course of the next couple of years.
He is a funny dude.
Luck and being a great right hooker. Hey everybody, this is Garyvee, Chuck, and you're watching the Ask Garyvee Show, episode 10. I feel like I go right into the questions, and I feel like I want to smooth into it. I mean, if you watched Wine Library TV over the 6-year period, a lot of you did, the upfront, kind of like the morning coffee, was a big part of it. And so I just want to say hello to everybody. I want to mention that I'm really enjoying the comments and reading a bunch of them in the YouTube section. I'm enjoying some of you who are already stepping up and engaging with each other in there. That is a double kudos to you. And in general, I'm just really happy that you've allowed me your attention to get all the way to episode 10. Fun fact on the number 10, Santonio Holmes, a New York Jets wide receiver, was number 10. One time I was yelling, Santonio, he looked up. I quickly had to react. I did the 10, which also for a wide receiver is catch the ball. He did it back to me. I freaked out.
That's so cool.
And what's your attitude toward complaining in business and in life in general?
Lauren, I appreciate this question. I'm curious how much you know me, or if you're asking that because the truth is, if you look at my historical tweets, 100,000 plus, maybe there's 2 complaints. Maybe you can get to 3. One of the people I look up to most in the world, maybe the person I look up to most in the world, tied with my dad, I know, Dad, you might watch this, is my mother. And hands down, and I mean hands down, the thing that I find most intriguing about my mom, and probably one of the things that I'm most happy that she's passed on to me, is her inability almost to complain. I find it extremely
Wow.
attractive. I would tell you that I adore my wife.
That's props to my mom for not succumbing to cancer any of the times. And it's something that often escapes me, but I forget that the amount of stuff that she has to not put up with, but the things that she endures for those that she loves is an amount I'll never comprehend. She does it without complaining. And I think I got lucky because I don't complain, not because I know it's not right to complain, but I don't complain just because I don't care. It's kind of a weird thing, but very interesting.
As a matter of fact, Xander is whining too much, and he's only 2, and I find it unattractive. I'm very against complaining. I'm very putting your head down. I'm very, don't you realize you're healthy? Like, to me, the only thing you should complain about is the unfortunate unluck of health. Somebody dying that you love in a car accident, or you becoming terminally ill. After
Yes,
that,
please.
it's controllable. And so I really dislike complaining. I talk a lot about honey over vinegar. It's an analogy I use a lot here at VaynerMedia. I thrive on positivity, and so the way I deal with complaining is I try not to do it. I try to educate and empower people the lack of its value, I guess. I mean,
It's really smart.
when you go in my gear, like, there is no, like, oh, you're going to go into complain zone. To me, it's assess, figure it out, and go directly back on the offense. I'm a very offensive player. Complaining is the defense.
Robert,
Ooh.
I've been doing a lot of jabbing, but I don't feel like I'm hitting much of anything. Any advice?
I have advice. I don't know if you heard. Got a show. Ask Garyvee. Subscribe. Here's my advice. If you follow boxing or MMA, one would understand that some people are great technical boxers. They know how to jab, and when they land a perfect right hook on somebody's chin who wasn't even expecting it, they don't have the power to knock that person out. Robert, the truth is, my man, there might be just a situation where you're just not good at clothing. And that's something
I like that face.
on you, Robert. This is something I want everybody to hear. You just might not be a great salesman to actually make the close. In fact, you may need 2 people. This is something I haven't talked a lot about. This is why the Ask Garyvee show is a good show. It's forcing me to say new stuff. I haven't talked about, and Poppy blew it in the book. The reason I pointed there, you want to show them D-Rock, they might be like, why did you point there? Jordan! I'm kidding. You may need a partner, Robert. You might be the greatest jabber in the world, and you may need a partner right hooker, right? And so, I just happen to be both in one amazing body, but the fact of the matter is, you may need a partner where you do the jabbing, and she or he does the right hooking.
Chad asks, how do I get the cute old lady who keeps accidentally calling my house to stop?
Chad, one thing I pride myself in is actually really paying attention. I'm really good at paying attention to mannerisms.
The heck was that?
Listen to words. You said cute old lady. Chad, one thing I pride myself in is actually really paying attention. I'm really good at paying attention to mannerisms, I feel for the room. I also listen to words. You said cute old lady, which means you actually like it. And so what I would tell you to do is flip the script. I would